Hey YouTube, the reason why I'm doing this video is to talk about these sodomites. And I know a lot of you guys aren't aware of what a sodomite is. A sodomite is what took place in Sodom and Gomorrah. Basically, it's when these people are rapists, these people are ungodly people, they commit all kinds of adulterous acts, sexual immortality, deviancy, a whole bunch of other different things, and we call them sodomites. Basically, a sodomite is a rapist, just to be totally honest with you, but they are into whorism, they're into all these different fashions of sexuality. Um, what took place in the biblical days was the people was fooled out of righteousness, you know, by these sodomites. Basically, they're marrying sodomite women, women that believe in having sex with multiple partners, having sexual immortality type stuff, and they begin to come into these women and date these type of women. Now, the thing about us is this: we cannot partake in that type of stuff, but a lot of our men that they're trying to put as leading images are not the leading images of our real faith. They were fallen. They were fallen people. They were flawed people who had fallen victim to certain things, and that's why a lot of times you see our women, when we dedicate ourselves back to God, we go through rape situations, we go through all these different situations, no matter where we may be, whether we're in a lodge that is undocumented, because I'm starting to realize that there are multiple lodges and multiple places that people reside, but a lot of times we're thinking we're home and we're in unfamiliar places, been kidnapped, removed from our family, removed from the people that love us, and you can kind of tell these signs of this type of thing going on, and we call the people that do these type of things sodomites. And their biggest mission is to make you lose faith in yourself, make you lose faith in your God and stuff like that. Remember, these people are not of God. That's a lie. If they ever say, if these people ever come to you and tell you, oh, we did this because we're people of God, that they lie. That's all they do. They get, I don't know if they get paid to lie. I don't know what it is, but they are expert liars, because nothing that these people do for you is beneficial to you. The only reason why you're still prospering because you're holding to the word of God, or the wisdom of God has been placed in you. Other than that, you'll be like everybody else, just out on the streets with nothing. It's only by God's grace that you even have a roof over your head, because to be totally honest with you, these sodomites never wanted you with a roof over your head, never wanted you with clothes on your back, never wanted you with food on your table, never wanted you to actually have any span. And a lot of times you'll come in contact with some of these sodomites on your jobs and stuff like that. You're trying to work and they're trying to attack you and all kinds of stuff like that, because the state that you're in is like the matriarch type state. It's a matrix type state where you can't really free yourselves or remove yourselves from these people or from your kidnapper or your captor at that present time. I mean, it's going to take some divine intervention or whatever the case may be. How you stay strong during these times is the fact that you believe in God. These sodomites will pretend to be your parents if you're a child and abuse you constantly. Even though you grew up, like, it's like a shift. You felt like a switch type thing going on. You grew up with a mother that loved you, a father that loved you, people that really loved you, and they always loved you, and you always grew up in love. And then you go through that switch. It's because of their little matrix system that they put you in, to hold you captive and stuff like that. They kidnapped people to actually do this to people. This has not just started happening. They've been kidnapping people for years through death, People may be diagnosed as dead and they're not really dead. They kidnap them through means of prison, incarceration, mental health facilities, medical facilities. I mean, it's a variety of ways that these people have been getting away with abusing um, our people of these years and these times. We call them sodomites. I don't know if you remember the story in the Bible about Lot. Lot was working as a gatekeeper to a wicked city, which is called Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom was considered wicked because of their ways and their behaviors. They did not believe in God. They were not people of God. They were not taught to follow God's will. These people believed in all kinds of stuff. Like, they believed in homosexuality. They believed in all this stuff. And that's part of the reason why now we're going into a time where homosexuality is more present. Like I said, I have nothing against homosexual people. We're all people, or whatever the case may be. But knowing what I know now, having grown in the spirit just a little bit, and it's not that I have biases, because how can I have a bias when I went through the same confusion, went through the same thing, and woke up to the fact that I was being played by these sodomites into a lifestyle of ungodliness. And only when you wake up to the fact that, okay, everything about our lifestyle, they want to be different in reverse. If you are a conservative person, you will actually conserve yourself and live long and have health and have, a good life. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it is slow changes that are now impacting our lives for generations and generations and generations and generations. I mean, a lot of people will not be able to actually observe how these sodomites have destroyed our lives over a period of centuries and centuries and centuries of abuse, neglect, and everything. And they want you to feel bad because of some of that stuff. Half of the people that are homosexual, you're going through resentment, you're going through feeling bad because you're homosexual, and it's these sodomites that set up there and basically push you to a thought process or a mindset that was you. And that's not something you want to be. So now your spiritual you is trying to fight against the external. Your internal trying to fight against the external, trying to take control of the internal. And it's hard for you, and you're sitting up there and you feel trapped, you feel vulnerable, you may feel encaged or whatever the case may be, but you have to sit up there and you have to think positively, follow the word of God, and trust me, friends and help will come. We don't understand that the story a lot is a story that we have to take into consideration with a lot of different things. Now we're dealing with a trans society. Could you imagine a little boy being brainwashed into thinking he's a woman and going through the procedures of transforming himself to a woman, and later on find out that his abusers chose that for him? He didn't even get a choice. That is a hard pill for a man to have to swallow, especially a young one. This is part of the reason why they're constantly lying to the people, to the population. You have got to the point where we empathize with sodomists. You're empathizing with your rapist. You're empathizing with your abusers. You're empathizing with people that are abusing you and making you something that's against God that loves you. And we have to stop empathizing. I told y'all I even advocated. And I was being abused. I was being raped by women. I was being raped by men. I was questioning my sexuality. Part of the questioning of my sexuality is what was taking place with my body that I was not even aware that was taking place because I couldn't even remember the torture and abuse that was taking place with me. That is hard for one to have to endure. You're going through abuse and you can't even remember your abusers. And you're just constantly being abused, constantly being abused. And these people care nothing for our people, our population, our growth, our anything. They're taught that their negative ways prospers them. We were taught something totally different. We were taught if you're a negative person, it's best that we don't be around you. But they're taught that their negative ways prosper them, and that's how they flourish, and that's how they grow. If they want something, if they want a woman, they just take the woman and have sex with her, and it is what it is. And these are sodomists. These are sodomists. Be careful with yourselves around these people because they're taking little boys, little girls, raping them off, and now wanting them to be transgender, wanting them to be something that they are not. And after turning them into trans, they rape them even more. That's why they constantly have infections. And when we talk about little boys and little girls, these little boys and little girls grow into men and women who are suffering from multiple cases of abuse. And don't think that you can reach out to the Department of Children and Families about it. Don't think that you can reach out to a mental health facility about it because we're, we're starting to realize half of the things that they're reaching out to are more abusers. Can you imagine? Okay, I'm sitting up there, I'm reaching out for help, but yet and still I'm only adding on abusers. That becomes a toxic environment. Not having family, not having friends, all you have to depend on is yourself for stability, for stabilization, for mental sanity, and stuff like that. Because everything around you looks or either acts or does something to remind you that they're not for you, and that may be a little bit extremist, but at some point your body says I have to safeguard myself from certain things because we have all these people. I mean, they sit up there, they say that they working for the benefit and the greater good of our people, but explain this to me. How is it y'all removing kids from parents who's taking care of their kids and putting them into households where those kids are being abused? Now, I understand that sometimes it's a mandate for the kid to be removed, but you sit up there and you find good people who actually try to live their life to the best of their ability under these circumstances and conditions that they have been placed in, under your matrix system in which you kidnapped them and inducted them into. They inducted people into this type of society. People were not willingly going into a society such as this. And although we rage and we rage more against the dying of truth because they lie, consistency is part of their religion because they want to put the devil in God's place because they want to say that the devil is God. The devil is not God. We have a holy grail. The holy grail is a secret meeting place. We don't serve the devil. Now, the devil know what God knows, but you chose the path to be whatever you want to be, whether you want to be a sodomist, you want to be that mess that you chose to be, but don't continue to make people think that God's people and Satan's people are the same. We are not the same, although a lot of God's people were stolen and used for those purposes that are considered ungodly against their will, and it's hard to maintain faith. So we may lose a couple of soldiers, and we hate to lose them, but it's hard sometimes to maintain faith in certain circumstances. And we understand. We understand completely. Um, these captive situations that people are being held in, whether it's in cities or um, other countries or whatever the case may be, where these people feel like it's okay to do what they're doing, has ways of combating. We hear about Homeland Security. We hear about all these different programs and stuff like that. But what you don't hear is that in order to sit up there and cure a system, you have to enter into that system. I cannot cure a system from afar. I can destroy a system from afar, and that's easy, the destruction of one. But at the same time, what happens when you destroy something and it's still there standing? You really have not destroyed it. You have to sit up there and you have to do what you have to do to make sure that you're getting rid of all the problems that plague our people and the things that our people are going through. Like I said, today's society, we have a lot of rapists out. We have a lot of sodomists and stuff like that. These are the people, when the angels came into the city of Sodom and Gomorrah, they came out women and men. Women and men. Don't ever exclude those women, because those women are more vicious than the sodomist men. Don't ever think that they're not vicious. They're vicious. And the sad part about it, they don't even know what they're doing. Because some of them are God's people. They don't even know what they're doing. They're being mind controlled. They're being puppeteered by a sodomist that don't even want to come out and show his face or her face to face. And they are vicious. And the sad part about it, you may be destroying an innocent soul, but you have to protect yourself too. But these are the ones that came out in a crowd and said they wanted to rape the men that entered into the city that was supposed to walk the streets to observe the city and give report back to God. Those are them. Those are the sodomists. And now they are in power and in high positions and high authority. Now, I remind you, these are men and women who's coming in wanting to sleep, because at that time it was two men that entered into that city. And let me tell you something, they sleep with men and women, even being men and women themselves. They sleep with men and women. That's why you have the homosexuality increasing, the mental sickness increasing, because guess what? Anything that is abnormal, they're trying to increase it. But what happened? Sin been reigning for so long, it's hard for you to break free from it because it became the norm. You know, you sympathize with certain things. Look, I don't have anything against a person that's gay, but at the same time, I can't sympathize with the behavior. I sympathize with you because I have been there and I know what you're going through, and it hurts me to see you like that, because I was so ignorant at one time, not being able to save myself from certain situations and crying out spiritually with no relief and no help in sight, from suffering from my abusers, from those that were attacking me, from those that were doing things to me. And I couldn't even report. At this point, I can report and I can make reports. And I make my reports daily. Well, actually not daily, but monthly. I'll make my reports to law enforcement and say, hey, you know, I've been raped daily. I've been going through this daily. I've been going through that daily by people that have blinded me, compromised my vision, by people that have done certain things to me. and stuff like that by people who do not have my best interest at heart. And yes, this situation we're in is called the Matrix for a reason because we are not able to fight them and combat them. This was supposed to be a way for them to actually keep inmates that were violent offenders from abusing them and stuff like that. It was inducted into this type of situation, sort of like the Demolition Man type thing going on, and that's what we're dealing with. Or like Neo in the Matrix, this is what we're dealing with. And trust me, it's hard to fight or create a stance when everything is trying to tell you that it's your thought process. It's you. It's not until you really become in the will of God that you start to realize you're around sodomists, you're around sinners, you're around demonic people. It's when you actually start picking up that word of God, reading the Bible, and bringing yourself into focus with the word of God. Just bringing yourself into focus with one thing. You're going to realize that there's a lot of other things out there. I say bring yourself into the will with the word of God because the word of God is not against you, it's for you. But you're going to see certain things go on. You're going to learn about how they wanted to promote lines, even biblically, because biblically they wanted to promote the sexual or the prostituted people or things that were ungodly. They promoted them before they promoted the righteous and the ones that was actually living right. So you really want to take your time and actually, understand certain stuff. Like there is rules and regulations, but I believe my heart. The reason why that was done is to say, look, no matter what sins you have committed, there is always forgiveness. There is always forgiveness for you. You can be in hell and still receive forgiveness and get back your life. You can be in any situation and still retrieve yourself and get back you and live full and abundance with life if you do what you're supposed to do for yourself. These people want you to care for them more than you care for yourself. People, be careful when you have people around you. They always want you to do for them. They always want you to give them. They can't never do nothing for you for free. They can't never care for you. They can't never be there for you. Those are sodomists. Every time they do something, they want something from you. You always got to give them something. Sodomists. You should never always have to give a person out your pocket. That means that if I don't have you. Be careful who y'all associating yourselves around because these people are money hungry. They're very evil in heart because they will do negative things to try to bring you closer around them. You trying to get away from them. They're trying to do negative things. These are not people of God. And the reason why they done designed this matriarch system is so that you can sit up there visually blind, unable to get away from them. Because they know you will not consult with them. You will not deal with them. You wouldn't even focus on them. You have to be forced to deal with them. That's even in work situations. You have to be forced to deal with them even at work. Because to be totally honest with you, at work, y'all ain't even on the same level. You kind of isolate yourself a lot, and it's a motive behind your isolation because you do not want to be involved with sodomists. You do not want to be involved with half of this mess going on. You do not want to be involved with the deception part of this. And it's a lot of deception and it's a lot of bad stuff going on. And you're kind of isolating yourself a lot. And a lot of people don't understand that. You're isolating yourself for your own protection because with everything that you're seeing happen, certain stuff you can't partake in. And people don't understand that. They think, oh, well, they depressed. They this, they that. No, I'm fine. I'm just seeing a lot go on around you guys, and I don't want to be involved. I'm seeing a lot of sodomist behavior. I don't want to be involved. I'm seeing a lot of gold digging behavior. I don't want to be involved with that. I don't want those type of people around me. I don't want those type of people in my atmosphere. So what you think I'm going to do? I'm going to isolate myself from everything that creates a problem for me. Be careful, people. We are in a sodomist environment. We are in wicked conditions, wicked atmospheres. And these atmospheres have placed us in a matrix system where it is hard to get free from these people. It will take external intervention to really get free from them. So you guys, be careful. Hopefully these words encourage you and give you wisdom. Take care.